come to terms, my baby is a bird. When you're in the sky, I'm hoping you return. What can I say? Do it right away. You are what you are, and I feel like a cage. You're so cute, and my blade is on the bird. I'll be the one who ends up getting hurt. I can't help it, blade is on the bird. I'll be the one who ends up getting hurt. And that song is by the French musician Okelu. And I love her music. I love her recent album. I think it's called Choke Enough, and I love that song in itself too. And so, uh, this podcast episode is going to be about mental health. Um, from my perspective as a first gen Mexican American woman, lady, once a girl. And before I go into that, um, I need to rave about Okelu for a little bit because I love her music. Um, like I just love how otherworldly it is, and um, my gosh, I love her live performances too, and they've been such an inspiration for me, especially when I'm doing my creative work. So yeah, you should definitely go check out her music. Check out some of like her live concerts that are on YouTube because they're really, really good. And like, oh, she just dropped a recent NPR, or she did a recent NPR like Tiny Desk concert, and it was really nice. I loved it. But going back to what this episode is gonna be about, it's clearly gonna be about mental health. And I don't know if you can tell, but now that I've done my little song, uh, there's more like joy in my voice, if you can tell, like, cause I can feel it. um, but I mean, that's kind of what singing does for me. It's such a powerful way for me to just instantly feel much better, like in my body, a better about like in my like in regards to like the way I'm thinking. Like my mood is just boosted like instantaneously, like after singing just for a little bit, especially like two songs that just mean a lot to me. And so I hope you all have been doing very well, my lovely listeners, wherever you are, and that you've been in mostly good health, especially with the cold season coming on, or like being now in the cold seasons where it's very easy to get sick and such. And also I should also mention that I do get seasonal depression too. I seem to get it in both the winter and the summer. Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe my nervous system or whatever it is that it's impacting. um but I think this is the first year that I'm feeling, well, I wouldn't say it's the first year, but it's one of the few first years where, or one of the few years where I'm feeling positive about the winter season. Um, and I'm also feeling motivated. Um, And actually, at the beginning of this new year, er, um, what was I gonna say? I was actually like pretty, was it stressed? Is stress the word or just, what's the word? I was stressed, but oh, like I think the word I'm thinking of is like pressured. Like I was feeling very pressured to complete all this different work that I needed to do. Uh, Mostly admin work, and then also change up things in my website, make some new rules for potential clients who want to book me for fashion illustrations. And I think eventually I will write or like do a little episode, a podcast episode on struggles of or like little annoying things that come with being a fashion illustrator. And mainly the top one right now is just that a lot of people keep like contacting me like through email. They're asking about um live fashion illustration, but they're not actually booking me. And oh my goodness, it's so frustrating. Um and so I've been like trying to reach out to like some of my other entrepreneurial friends who have gone through this, and um I would say like it's like like where the challenge is for me, and like where it's stressing me out, that or like it's making me feel frustrated that I'm not exactly getting booked yet, is just that I just want to start earning like the money that I should get from doing all of my creative work, from drawing, from being able to draw people in a very dreamy, stylistic way, or at least that's how I think. um, and also because I do work very hard on all of my artworks. Sometimes I might spend hours on an artwork, or like like specifically focusing on just fashion illustration. Like sometimes it'll take hours, or sometimes it might take days. Sometimes I can get it done like within like just 8 minutes or like 15 minutes. So it always depends. And then another thing that influences that is just like how passionate, or just like um how like do I even feel about this illustration? Like, am I excited to do this illustration? Like the recent one that I made, or like the recent like um more detailed fashion illustration that I made of Georgina. That one took um several hours to just draw the base, plus do like some of the ink work, and then all of the the more colorful details that the illustration needed. That took a little bit less time. I think it took like max like 3 hours. Like I don't remember like how long in total it took, but essentially what I'm trying to say is that I really love painting um beautiful dresses, and like I love what I do, you know? So that's why like I it can be like frustrating and like kind of disheartening that people aren't actually booking me. Oh my gosh. Like what do I have, like why do I have to keep like waiting and stuff. Oh, okay. Well, the other thing that's like really frustrating too is that people are asking me for samples, and I'm just like, okay. Like initially at the beginning when I first was getting contacted by people, initially it didn't seem like any like it didn't seem like a bad thing at first, and it just seemed like, oh, like okay, like yeah, I can do a sample like spot on. But then they would just ghost me. And then I started to notice this um more frequently, and then that's why I'm just like, okay, why do like I have a whole page on my website that says fashion illustration. Why didn't you look there? Oh, and then I was just wondering, like, is this something that, like, am I not putting my best work out there or what? So I started like looking at other pages, like, or like websites of other illustrators, and I'm just like, no, like like their illustration pages like look quite identical to mine, like in terms of structure. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm gonna have to put that rule that you can't ask for a sample, okay? Because I have plenty of samples on my website and on Pinterest. Oh my goodness. Um, but yeah, so I'll try like not to go too much into that. Um, but like I think during like all of last year or most of last year, I did have a bit of a hard time, like mental health wise, and just like pushing through um all this time that I was close to getting booked for an event. And then they just ghosted, or like it just felt like I was being like told to like do all this other work to keep proving that I can do this, and then like it was all for nothing. So there were times like last year that I for sure struggled a lot. Um, or maybe not. I don't want to word it like that, but it was hard to stay motivated and to not feel very depressed about um not getting booked and such. Um, and I think during that time, I know that I was still doing fine, like in other ways, but hmm, I think what, what what this like experience did for me was bring a lot of attention to my thoughts and how it's really like it's so crazy how just like one or two negative thoughts can just like instantly bring your mood down, or like it can spiral into a whole scenario in just like your head, and you think it like you just think of the worst, the most disastrous things going on, and it's not like you don't have to, like it's not that big of a deal, or it's fine, like we're okay, like it's just your mind like spiraling a little bit because like you are like, yeah, you are like a little sad or upset about something in that moment. um and it's hard, or like um it could be hard to recognize that, oh, like this is just my brain, like it's not that that like I'm not allowed to feel sad, like this is like my brain's way of processing what I'm feeling in the moment, and relax, it's not like you're fine, you have your family, like just like you have to come back and like be like present in the moment and like be in your body and such. Um and so I went through that a lot, and there were so many times where I had to just really pause and just remind myself that I'm okay. This is like, this sucks that I haven't gotten a full green light yet to be, or like to get ready to do an event, but I'm okay. I have shelter. My dad's okay. My brother's okay. He sometimes can be a bit difficult to be to be near. My younger siblings are okay. They're happy. They're in good health. My pets are okay. Um, and then when I think of my pets and my dad, that's kind of where sometimes my mind will start to spiral a little bit into like disastrous things happening and being concerned that I won't ever be able to make like anything to be able to care for my pets like in the best way that I should be providing for them, and that I can't help my dad with some of the financial um work that he's doing to provide for us. And my dad, he is like of course he's also frustrated too, but at the same time he is seeing that some progress is happening even though the money is taking a while to come through. And then, oh, I should also mention too that I applied to so many jobs, and all of them did not want anything to do with me. I don't know why. Um, and again, like the reason why like I jumped into doing like illustration work was in part, like one part was because I was in a very very toxic workplace situation where I was pretty terrified to go to that place because some of my coworkers had tried to do things to harm me. And honestly, like one person in particular who I'll try to save the story for another episode, but this one person in particular that was the main person who was always like trying to intimidate me physically in some way. This person clearly did have issues with their internal world. Um, they were not at all aware of how they were coming off, how like atrociously aggressive they were coming off. Like like from the day I met this person, they were always giving me such ugly looks, like so mean. And I instantly knew that I had to keep my eye, like I had to keep watch of this person. And also, this person often exposed themselves through like the mic that we would use for work. And it's like a radio, like a walkie-talkie, like set that we had to use to communicate like throughout like the building and such. And I was just like, sh- like to sum things up, this person, it was a lady in her 60s. But just because she's in her 60s, that did not mean at all that she was capable of being um like she was capable of being violent. Because again, multiple times she tried to intimidate me using her like physical strength. This person did work a job before we were working in the same company. This person did work in a very physically demanding type of job. And again, I'm gonna save it for another episode because there there's way more to the story, and I will like close off in this little section that this this lady that was that was terrible to me at this workplace. Um, she had some very negative feelings towards Latina women in particular. So that's why I was saying that I will eventually go into this in a different episode so that way we can focus more on that, and then also so I can dive or elaborate a little bit more on being a Latina woman in the workforce in corporate spaces and why that essentially was like the main motivation to like establish my creative business and to no matter what to put all my effort, like all my hard work into drawing because I know I can do it. Um and I'm not about to go back to a workplace where I am constantly fearing for my life and I am in constant stress. But yeah, that was one of the main reasons why I started Daydream Muse, which is my art name and my creative business name. Uh and let's see. Oh, okay, so I was like talking about how this was like okay. So another thing that kind of does trigger my mind to spiral a little bit is being concerned for my dad. Um because I know that I can't be depending on him for much longer because he's getting older. And I like before um what happened? I think I yeah, I was just like in some not so great workplace situations and I did have to like leave at several times like um through working regular jobs or like regular 9 to 5 jobs. And also um oh my goodness, like a lot of workplaces are unfortunately they're very toxic at times, or they can get to that point if there's not very good leadership. And well, when I did work more consistently, like through a 9 to 5, I was able to pay all of my own bills and also pitch in like to help my dad. After I decided that I did not want to go back to specific jobs, I did struggle a lot to be able to like pay anything at all. And that's like one of the reasons where it's frustrating for me to um Or it can be really frustrating for me I when I'm not generating like any income at all. And I would say that most of all that this like that whole like experience of earning money, like generating like steady income and all of that, I feel like what it's been teaching me a lot has been on like how money is important, like first and foremost, and how even though I can like I can make money through skills that I have, um it still doesn't hurt to come up with other ways to generate some form of income. More specifically to be able to not rely on like your body to be able to earn that steady income. And I think that was one of the reasons why I started like blogging or why I was interested in it. Um and honestly, I wish I had started blogging much sooner, but at the same time, I don't think I was in the right headspace at the time. And I think I've mentioned a few times in other episodes that my early 20s was a pretty rough time because I was trying to figure out like the workforce. Just I was trying to do too much all at once, trying to work a regular 9 to 5 job with zero awareness of how like work is in the US, or like workplace culture, that's the word I was thinking of. How so I was trying to do too much all at once in my early 20s, trying to do this 9 to 5 job without any knowledge on how workplace culture in the US is. And I was trying to go to college at the same time. And I think, well, like I can probably talk about this in another episode, but I very quickly, um, I think going to college for an arts focused degree, I think it's still good to try it out. Um, do you actually need a degree to do an arts focused degree or an arts focused career? I don't think so. I definitely like I don't have a degree, just so you know. And I do know of other people in like my local arts community that they weren't really interested in going to college, or they did for a little bit, or like whatever the reason was, they just went into the arts and they've been doing fine. And also there's like I think there's plenty of like big name artists um who also like accomplish or like managed to establish a really like good or like establish their careers without any like higher education. Um, and there probably is several big names, but I can't think of any right now. But I do feel like it doesn't hurt to try it out to go to college for an arts career. Um, I would say like you should definitely try it out and maybe focus more on networking with people or like getting to know like the community in that college. Like a community college, I think it's fine. Um, and if you want to take classes there, like I would give it a try. Um, but I would say like yeah, I what I do appreciate about having gone to college, um, was mainly for meeting people. And if I could do things a little different, I think I would want to be more intentional about the connections I would be making in college. Because uh you may come across people who could support you um in like acquiring like your degree or like getting your like or what am I trying to say? Oh my goodness. Or trying to like establish your art career. So that's why I say that you don't have to have an art degree, but it doesn't hurt to go to college for networking like purposes. Like it is very helpful, and I think in any job, networking or like being able to maintain positive relationships with the right people, I think it is very, very important. And I will say now too that um for me personally, community is very, very important. Um, and like I even always like tell myself too that if it wasn't for people in my community, like my teachers, my like people I would see at the grocery store or at like local shop, like local like businesses or whatever it is, if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would be who I am now. I think I would have I think a lot of the people in my community, even when I had a bit of a bad attitude because of like just being an angsty teenager or just being like deep in my feelings, like whatever it is, um, even though even if I wasn't really able to be like happy or like truly like appreciating the social engagement, I think a lot of the community members in my local area provided so much of the emotional nurturing that I really, really needed, especially as um the daughter of immigrants. And eventually like I'll speak more on my mom and how we do have a very complicated relationship, and it is very difficult for me. Um, um, well, where was I going with this? That I do have a very difficult relationship with my mom. Uh, oh my gosh, my mind, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. But, um, oh, okay. Well, eventually, like, I will talk. about my mom and how I know like what she's done in the past was so heartbreaking for me as her child. But even though she did so much to harm me in so many ways. Oh my gosh. Like again, like I will eventually speak on some of the details of the things that she's done. And even though that happened, the part of her that was still hopeful for life, that little part of her still tried to be a very good mom to me and my siblings. And I do remember as a little girl seeing my mom, like it was like she really was fighting a lot of demons by herself. And at the same time, I'm seeing her also, she's trying to do better. She's trying to be a good protector for us. But at the same time, there's so much that was out of her control. And on top of that, you have to consider also her early life in Mexico, and she is from southern Mexico. Both of my parents are from southern Mexico. My dad is, I think he grew up a little bit in Mexico City, but he did spend most of his early life in southern Mexico. And I think because I've seen my mom struggle so much with like her own mental health, and she's not aware of what's going on with her like mental health because of like the cultural conditioning that she was exposed to for most of her life. A lot of the people from like in her generation and who raised her and such, they they are like people who think who that mental health is something related to like the devil and all that. They think it's like they think they think there's something wrong with you like spiritually. And the only way to actually get better is to go to church and be mm, yeah, like to go to church and be a devout follower of the church and the Lord. And sorry, I'm trying to like be mindful of the way like I word things. And also it's also like just my brain blanking out a bit. And um yeah, like going back to like my mom, like seeing my mom have a really difficult time like with mental health and such. I think because I saw this a lot throughout my childhood, and then also I've mentioned this a couple of like several times already that when her mental health wasn't wasn't good, she could become extremely violent. And it was, and like you cannot do anything other than let her hit you as hard as she wants and for as long as she wants. Like we're supposed to wait until she's finally done using us as literal, like, or I don't know if I'm using it correctly, but she, like, when she's not doing well mental health wise, she will always wanted to use someone in the family as like an actual punching bag. And it's sad that that this was how she acted all the time. And like, not, I'm not gonna lie, I was very terrified for my life many times as a little girl. And even what made it even worse was that a lot of people around me would be saying that I should never feel anything bad um towards my parents because of all the sacrifices they did for me. And I'm very aware, like, that's for as long as I've been alive, for I've always heard that it's always me that has to put aside my feelings in order to be considerate of my parents. And well, I think now, as someone who's nearly in my 30s, it's getting easier um to just not care about things that my parents do or have done wrong. But as a like, when I was a like a small girl, I like, how would I know to have, or how would I be able to just automatically put aside my feelings and prioritize my parents' happiness and completely, like, ignore anything that I'm feeling. And I think that's how I went through most of my early life, is just, I don't matter. My mind doesn't matter. My body doesn't matter. My voice doesn't matter. Like, nothing about me matters. Nobody cares about me. Or that was that was what I thought as a little girl. The only time I matter is when I do something right for my parents, for my family, for my church, for my community. And like, yeah, like, I will eventually, like, touch on how sometimes community can be a bit toxic at times. But um yeah, I think this was like this was one of the reasons why now, like as an adult woman now, um I care, like, I care so much about my mental wellness, my mental health, my entire well-being. I care about it so much that I don't care what I have to do to ensure that my health is good. I don't ever want to be in places where I'm being hurt emotionally, where I'm being hurt physically, hurt mentally. Um, I care too much about protecting my internal world, and I care a lot about protecting my body because it does so much to protect me. That, yeah, that I think everything I like, every like goal that I do or that I think of now, it has to, like, if I'm aspiring to do something, it has to be aligned with the way I take care of my mental health and my physical health, which is why I don't aspire to be a singer or a musician, even though I have been told often that uh like why, like my brother, like several times when we were younger would tell me, why don't you just try out for The Voice? No, because half of the time a lot of the people in there, they get exploited by like entertainment people. And yeah, um I think um I think a lot of I think my parents, and I think a lot of people, maybe like this goes on even into like different cultures too. They can romanticize a lot of different career options. Like for example, my parents like they wanted they thought I would be a good immigration lawyer. And it was most and like they would be saying that I should be an immigration lawyer so I can help them have papers in the future. Um, and that's not bad, but they're not really like it's not their fault either. They don't really know what that field is like. They just see somebody wearing nice clothes, having a briefcase, looking very like professional, like very important and all. And that alone means that they're winning. And that's not the case. And I think, oh, and then also like even like same thing with like arts related careers. A lot of people don't, I feel like people romanticize it a lot. And I mean like especially when it comes to like being in being in entertainment, how many books and how many people have spoken out that they grew up in the entertainment business and they did not have like they they were exploited most of the time, and sometimes it was by their own family. And I guess like also like that's also something that I'm thinking of, that or that's something that I kind of like want to always like keep in mind when it comes to making different like choices, like when it comes to like my career and such. If it feels like it might potentially be harmful to my mental health, I am not doing it. And oh my gosh, like I don't know if it's because like I'm nearly 30. Uh like I value security so much more nowadays, and I think that's also why why like now more than ever, when it comes to my younger siblings, my local community, and it doesn't matter like if it's like like within just the city where I live, or if it's like an online community, it's like any type of relationship that I have, even if it's like a little bit like superficial. I think at this point in my life, I care so much about nurturing all the relationships that I have, because you just never know when you may need some support from them. And I'm now thinking of how my mom was trying to raise me. And while sometimes she was right and she was trying to be protective, she was also very controlling. And she would not let me talk to anybody, and she would get really mad. Um, or Um, she would try to convince me that nobody loves me basically. Or that no, like I never have friends, that the only person that actually cares about me is her, and that I should be grateful that she cares about me, and no one will ever like love me more than she does. And that's why I need to be close to her and do as she says. Um, and then over time, I did realize that yeah, sometimes she had a point. Sometimes like she was like able to recognize when some friendships were toxic, and um like I was able to get out of those situations like before anything escalated to something worse. But I also realized too that my mom, she never really learned how to properly like or how to care for like the people around her. Like the only way she knows like she doesn't know how to find genuine friendships, and she also doesn't know how to be a good friend to other people. And I think that's also one of the things that's contributing to why relationships are so important to me now as an adult woman. And also um I'm also seeing too, oh yeah, actually that was something that I did learn about myself last year, was that I can do a lot by myself, and I do have like a really good time being on my own. Um but I also really enjoy connecting with other people. I have a lot of fun socializing um with people that I know genuinely care about me, and they appreciate me and I appreciate them, and so we're both putting in our effort to nurture the connection and also maintain like a good relationship with each other. And I think my mom never really got to experience that, mostly because she just didn't know, but also I think it was a lot of her trauma that was holding her back too. Um and so I think the realization that I have now is just that maybe I wasn't so introverted after all. Um and maybe I started to be more introverted because possibly my parents. My mom's over here telling me that that no one will ever care about me more than she did, and then more than she does. And that no one's ever loyal, and the only people that I can count on is her. My dad, unfortunately, my dad was not very like kind to me as a daughter. There were several times where he would allow some of his guy friends, and these were grown men, to be making comments about me. And um honestly, like looking back, it was probably like it was like I was probably experiencing a form of like harassment, maybe. um but yeah, like my dad would never step in, or rather he would join whoever was trying to pick on me. And well, I couldn't say anything because, for one, I was a girl, and these were grown men in their mid 30s making comments about either my body, things that I do. They're making comments about my personality, that I'm boring, no one will ever like me, I'll never get a boyfriend. And I think because of that, like, I think I just thought that I was extremely introverted. And I am introverted at my core. But I think I've also come to a point where I realize that I care a lot about my relationships, and I care a lot about cultivating like positive relationships that feel very nourishing to my soul. And I think that might be where I'm gonna be closing off. Is just that I hope for anyone listening to this that you you have those connections too that feel very nourishing for your soul. And maybe it does sound very cheesy and such, but it is very important. And I think, considering like how my mom was raising me, I think had I not been very active in community activities, or just like um yeah, like I was like very active like in like volunteer work at my school, or like within like different organizations in the community. I think had I not um been open to things outside of my family, I think I never would have realized how warped my reality was, being being in my family or being close to my mom. I think I would have I would have probably lived through some of the same traumas that my mom went through. And um I guess this is a sign that I've talked enough, because now I'm feeling tired, and um like my mind's blanking. I don't know what what else is there to yap about during about this or about this subject. Um, but again, I think I wish for all of you who are listening to always surround yourself with genuine genuinely kind people. Um, and to also take a look at yourself too. Where do you need to be more adaptable when it comes to relationships? Hmm, what was I thinking of? Um, because it is good. It's good to be surrounded by people. It feels nice, especially when you have like a like really good group of people. And actually, I think that can be something that I can talk about in another episode, is just friendships and how to make good friendships, and keep an eye out for some potential toxic ones. Uh, but I think my brain is kind of zoning out and blanking out. I don't know what else to talk about and such. But thank you for listening to this new episode of Wandering Thoughts of Amuse. Thank you for supporting my creative work, and I hope to publish the next episode pretty soon. I have a few episodes that I think might be kind of funny, so I hope I hope you stick around for when I publish those interesting episodes, or I think they're interesting. Um, and you can always email me with any questions you have or any story times you have that could be relating to what I'm talking about, or yeah, just comment, like, share, and comment whatever all these YouTubers are saying. Comment your thoughts on this episode, or just anything that came up in your mind while you were listening. And I would love to get your perspective on what these wandering thoughts of mine sparked for you. Or maybe you just have something cool to say, or just to add to the conversation. So there's that. Share your comments. Uh, you can find my work on Substack, Instagram, my website, daydreamingmuse.com. Um, and I am on YouTube, but my cute little Chromebook is not wanting to work with me right now, so I can't really upload anything onto YouTube, or we will see. I will try to find a way to get the newer episodes of this podcast published on YouTube too. Um, but yeah, I think I am ready to end this episode. Thank you so much for listening to Wandering Thoughts of a Muse. I am your hostess, Daydreaming Muse, and also for anyone who wants to know, my real name is Diana. My artist name is Daydreaming Muse. I wish you all a lovely day or night wherever you are at, and most of all, I wish you all or I hope you all stay in good health and that you all can take care of yourselves, you know? But yeah, that's the end of this episode, and thank you so much for listening. I probably said that like 5 times already. Thank you for listening, and we will meet again.